Hi everyone, this is Harmony with Harmony Stitches and welcome to my channel. This channel we talk about my crafting journey and usually it revolves around cross stitch, sometimes knitting and crochet. And this video is going to focus on the finishes that I have made from July 1st, 2021 to December 31st, 2021. If you scroll back or look at the playlist on this channel, you will see a bonus cut with the finishes that I made from January 1st, 2021 to June 30th, 2021. So this is the second half. The second half of this video will also feature my WIPs through December 31st, 2021. So it's a little bit of both worlds, finishes and WIPs, and I hope that you have a good time walking down memory lane with me and then maybe seeing what is in store for 2022. So let's go ahead and get started. This particular WIP parade in the second half of the video will actually only cover my cross stitch pieces because I really haven't got any traction on any of my knitting or crochet pieces that were WIPs prior to 2021, except for the doll. And if you want to see the progress on that, go ahead and watch my latest episode 48 that was posted on January 3rd of 2022. You'll see it in there. I'm not going to show that WIP again until it's finished. I am getting there, and hopefully in a week or two, I'll be able to reveal that to you all. So this is crochet, knitting, and cross stitch finishes first. I have a list, so bear with me. I think my finishes until the 12 days of stitching are pretty much in order, but we'll see. And it's okay if they're not. Okay, so in July, we were still in summer sock camp, so I was knitting socks like crazy. And this is one of the finishes. It's called My First Socks, and it's by Marley Bird. I used her yarn, Chic Sheep by Red Heart and Marley Bird. This, I actually ran out of yellow, so I did Sunset. I can't remember. This is Mimosa and Sunset for the toes. I actually finished 2 pairs of these. I think 1 whole pair in Sunset. I can't find them. I know that all of my socks from summer sock camp were sitting in a pile waiting to be washed. And then some of them got washed, but I can't find the Sunset ones. Oh well, they'll turn up eventually. So I got 2 pairs of socks there. And then I finished this pair of socks. This is from, it's just a vanilla sock pattern. And this is using yarn that's called Opal. And I call these ones the Christmassy ones because it's kind of reds and greens. The red is kind of on the orange side, but I did do a knit 1, purl 1 twisted rib on this, and I really like that. So 3 pairs of socks knitted. I'm just going to throw my stuff down. Okay, and then the first cross stitch pattern I finished was this freebie by that Italian designer that I like so much. This is stitched, I kind of pulled colors from my stash, and I'm stitched on 28 count Dove Gray Monaco that I coffee tea dyed. So that was finish number 4. And I'm not going to necessarily count them all off because I do have a tally at the end, and you might be surprised to see that. Okay, then the next finish was another freebie from the same designer, and I actually got this ready for display. And that's really cute. I thought these two went together really well, so I did want to stitch them both. They're stitched with the same colors and on the same fabric. I stitched the other one first thinking it would go on this ghost, but it didn't fit, so then I whipped this one up as quickly as I could, and there it is. Okay, got to make room, so I got to stretch. Okay, and then I finished Amazing Grace. There are some ends that I kind of have to weave into this still, but that's all right. But I did finish it, Amazing Grace. And this one was a cross stitch kit by Jan. Okay, and then Pandemic. And I know that if you've been with me, you've seen this bad boy, and I'm not going to show all of it. I just have to get it unfolded. It is like a bed sheet. So, oh, that's not going to show you very much at all. So this is antique white, I think, Monaco, 28 count, stitched with DMC 915. And it's huge, 20 pages by Long Dog Samplers. I know you've seen it before. If you, let's see, words today. Words. If you are new to my channel, I finished this in October. So if you go back and look at my videos, you'll see this one in October. And I try to show the whole thing, and I think I do a pretty good job. So go ahead and take a look there. And then we're on to Hello Pumpkin by Stitching with the Housewives. I completed the stitching on 28 count black Monaco with the called for threads. While the orange pumpkins are stitched and called for, the other ones are in the DMC conversion listed on the chart. And then this is a piece that I found at Dollar General, which is just a discount store. I'm sure that you've heard of it. And then after I attached it, I took this off of a different pick that I had and put it on there just to give it a little bit more flair. You'll notice if you stick with me that my pieces are usually pretty simple. I love the big flourish, finishes, but I don't have the skill set to be able to pull that off. So buying pieces that may have a little raffia bow or something on them are just right up my alley, because then I can just put my cross stitch piece on and move along. Okay, the next one was Gobble by Stitching with the Housewives. I have not got this ready for display yet. And I used the called for DMC conversion on the chart, 28 count black Monaco. The only thing that I did not do on this is up in the corners, there was some wheat stalks that were supposed to be stitched, and I did not stitch those. I thought that he was cute the way that he was, and to let him stand out instead of clouding up the background, which it does look cute with the wheat. I'm not saying that. It's just for my purposes, I wanted him to be by himself. Okay, and then knitting, I did the dinosaur Christmas sweater and the matching family hats. I will insert pictures here if I can find some. Unfortunately, I think I deleted them off my phone, so I'll see what I can do. And then I finished the Secret Stitch, the Abominable Bundle by Plum Street Samplers. This is for my husband for his birthday to match the Bigfoot bunch that I stitched for Father's Day. And I stitched it on a 28 count raw linen. And I can't even say most of the called for floss because I did change it up a little bit. These trees are stitched in Pea Pod by Classic Colorworks to match the leaves that are in the Bigfoot chart. And then, let's see, I just pulled the yellow for the bee from Stash. The little flowers are stitched in persimmon to match the flowers in Bigfoot. The border is coal to match the border that I stitched in Bigfoot. I wanted to pull some of the same colors in. Of course, he did not notice that. I pointed it out to him. He thought it was kind of neat, but to him, it didn't really matter that much, and that's fine. Okay, first I stitched on Prairie Schooler. This is the December block from A Prairie Year, called for threads on 28 count Monaco. I think it's the same color I stitched Pandemic on. It just looks different because of the different colors, so it's hard to tell. I finished that one. And then I finished, I don't think these are in order of me finishing them. So this one is called Strawberry Scissors Fob Ornament. There's actually 2 ornaments, and I did this one. It was the biggest of the 2. I got this done in a day. Stitched on 20 count white Aida with, I believe, 3777, I think. I didn't keep good notes. Okay, and then I finished A Very Merry Christmas by Stitching with the Housewives. This is a freebie on their blog, priscillas2000.blogspot.com. I believe I used the called for colors. I believe. This is 18 count Aida that I coffee tea dyed. Noel by the Tiny Modernist. I finished this in just over a day. I fell asleep before I could get all the holly leaves done, and that was all I had to do in the morning, was the holly leaves. Also, 18 count Ada that I coffee tea dyed. Merry Christmas by the Tiny Modernist, 20 count white Ada with the called for colors. The only thing that I did not do on here is the garland, the backstitch garland on the tree was done in the blue, and I didn't think that it showed up, so I just skipped that. This is called This Is My Joy by Little House Needleworks. This is Apple Fritter by Classic Colorworks. It was one of the flosses that came in my thread pack, so I used that. 20 count white Ada. This is the Snow Day ornament from the January chart from Prairie Schooler, called for colors. This is an off-white 28 count Monaco. And Merry Christmas by Hello from Liz Matthews. 18 count Ada that I coffee tea dyed, and I used Soot from Classic Colorworks because I had it left over, and I just thought it would give it a nice softer look than the called for 310 from DMC. And I actually have one more that I had to add to my list this morning. I did finish this in 2021, and this is Christmas Bears by Owl Forest Embroidery. It's actually a modification because I cut a lot out and just did the bears and the bottom border. But I finished it, I stitched it, I got it done. That is also on the 18 count Ada that I coffee tea dyed. Okay, so in the second 6 months of the year, I completed 8 stitching projects, 0 crochet projects, and 16 cross stitch projects, which leaves me for the entire year of 2021 with 14 knitting projects completed, 1 crochet project completed, and 31 cross stitch patterns completed. I think that's kind of crazy, and I was telling my husband the other day because he was kind of getting down on himself because he kind of fell out of love with one of his hobbies and one of his things that he did, and he thought that he had to sell all of the items that went along with that hobby. And I said, well, let's equate this to crochet. I said, crochet used to be my go-to thing, and then I would try all kinds of other things in between. I said, I haven't really crocheted very much in the last couple of years, but that doesn't mean I'm going to sell all of my yarn or all of my hooks or all of my doodads and things for crochet just because I don't do it as much as what I used to. You never know when that inspiration is going to strike, and you might want your stuff. So even though crochet used to be my go-to and I only got 1, I do have a couple of projects in progress, and I'm really hoping that I can find the motivation to get back to those and just get them done. And then if I don't want to crochet anymore, then I don't have to, but at least I have those projects done and out of the way. And so that way we can enjoy them. One of them is a temperature blanket from 2019 that I have not finished yet because I was silly and decided to crochet 1 diamond for every day of the year. And that means you need 365. And so you can see that in my WIP parade from the beginning of last year. If it didn't make it into the first one, I know that I found a couple more projects and brought them into video number 2, in episode number 2. So I think that's really, really cool that I got 46 projects done, including a child-size sweater and Pandemic by Long Dog Samplers. That Pandemic chart had 77,265 stitches in it. So that's, I mean, if I had taken those stitches and put them in other projects, I probably wouldn't have any WIPs left. I would have got them all done. So I think that's huge that I was still able to complete 30 other cross stitch charts this year while stitching on Pandemic. So I'm very happy with that progress. And then I have to show you all of the progress that I received on this stack of WIPs. And this is just cross stitch. I do have a couple of knitting things that I have been working on this year too, but not, like I said in the beginning, nothing to rave about, nothing to show. And these are in no particular order whatsoever. I don't keep track of things that way, so there's no order. This is, the first one I pulled was Merry Christmas by Teresa Kogut. I started this during 12 Days of Christmas, or 12 Days of Stitching. 18 count Ada that I coffee tea dyed, and that is my progress, which really isn't that bad considering that I only gave myself 2 days of stitching on each project. And I did come back to this a couple of times when I got some of those other ones finished. So I'm really happy with that. So that's number one. Okay, this one is the Nativity by, is this Country Cottage or Little House? Sorry, I have to keep them all together, otherwise with this many WIPs, they'll get all confused. So it's the Nativity by Country Cottage Needleworks. Hope you can see that, and if I'm showing it all to you. This was also 12 Days of Stitching. My plan was to stitch on it for 3 days, the 23rd, 24th, and 25th, but I ran out of floss colors that I had in my stash. So that is all that I got done, but it is pretty good progress nonetheless. So I'll put that one away. I'll put the floss colors on my wish list, and I will get them when I get them. That one I'm going to have to set aside because it's tight fit. This one is Christmas House by my lovely Italian designer. And I did get some more work on this at the end of the year. I really think that I made enough progress on this that I can do this one and have it completed when it comes up on the wheel spin. So that's really exciting. So I'm hoping to have this for a finish this year. If it comes up, it should. Right now I have 22 WIPs, I think. And so I should be able to work on all of them throughout the year. This one is still on its little tiny mini hoop. This is a Halloween Quaker. Little Halloween Quaker by Susan Aker. I don't know if I'm saying that correctly. This is on a 28 count linen with pearl cotton. And I'm almost halfway finished. And I know when this comes up on the wheel spin again, because I know it will, I will be able to get this done in a week if I buckle down. I stitched on it the last time it came up on the wheel spin, and I actually got some pretty great progress. But I think something happened that week too where it derailed my stitching. So I didn't get as much as what I should have, but I did get pretty good progress. Okay, this is a pattern I got from Etsy. I believe this is it. Yeah. It's Super Mario Brothers 3 World Map 1. And I don't have a lot of progress on this. It is full coverage, but the last time it came up on my wheel spin, I got a lot in there. And I bought some of the flosses that I was missing because like all of these, well, not the cactuses because I just didn't get to that, but all of this background, I didn't have the colors for. So I have the colors now. And when this comes up on the wheel spin, I hope to show some great progress on the background. And because I got this whole bag of floss for the background and the things that I was missing in the area that I was stitching on. Yeah, so I'm really excited about that. I'm not excited about full coverage, but I am excited to make progress on my projects that I've chose because I chose them for a reason. I chose them because I want them. That I believe is 18 count off-white Ada that I'm stitching that on, full coverage. This is, and I don't have a picture to show you of that, I don't think. This is Lizzie Kate's, and I'm sure that you've seen it before, Halloween Rules. I think I just bit the bullet. I had some extra spending money and I went ahead and bought them from 123 Stitch because they have the reprint rights for Lizzie Kate. I'm stitching this on a 28 count Monaco that I coffee tea dyed. I didn't get very far. I basically have 2 of the 12 blocks finished. And I think when this comes up in the wheel spin, I should be able to get at least 2-3 blocks done, depending on how involved they are. So, and I am using all the called for colors. The last time that we talked about this, I had mentioned that each of the charts, they pretty much use the same colors, but when the colors were converted over to DMC, they weren't like a straight up conversion. So if she was using grape and she converted it to DMC and she was using that grape on 3 charts, it could be 3 different colors of purple. I don't know why that happened, but I am more so keeping it to the 1 color of DMC instead of 3 different colors of DMC, because otherwise it would be so many to purchase, and I can't do that. So pretty much a straight up conversion though off of the charts. Okay, this is Witching Hour by the Prairie Schooler. You will notice, if you haven't been here with me again, I kind of like the Prairie Schooler. I really do, especially the Halloween, but some of the others as well. I started with the big one. I have the fabric cut for the 2 small ones as well. I do that so that way I don't end up grabbing the fabric for other projects and then not having any matching fabric for the smalls. I'd rather each chart have matching fabric. All right, so this is where I'm at here. Not quite 50%. I would say maybe 25% if that finished with this. That tree alone takes a lot. This is the smoke from the chimney. So there's a big house here in the center. And I think when I come back to this, I will stitch the house. If you haven't noticed yet, I like to stitch from the bottom right corner up and out to the top left corner. So that's kind of where I start and I progress. So the natural progression on this is to do the tree and the house. And that's what I will work on next. And like I said, I'm pretty sure that all of these will be able to come up in the wheel spin this year. So I'll be able to get a week's worth of stitching in. Okay, this one is a Prairie Schooler as well, Starry Night. The issue with this one is the crying ink is sold out at my local needle workshop. I think one of my viewers here said that she had some, but I just haven't connected with her after that to get it. But I'm thinking it'll just wait. It's called Starry Night and it's the nativity scene. I only have 2 left and basically all I need to do is the crying ink. So I have the angel at the top. I have that one to do. And then I have to finish some on this one here. That's it. And that's okay. It'll happen when it happens. I have in this bag this card from Disney. I took this project with us to our family trip to Disney, and this little card is in the room and you get to take it with you. And I ended up sticking it in here and it's been in here ever since. So I think it'll probably stay with that project until the project is finished. Okay, this looks like Alice in Wonderland Sal by Owl Forest Embroidery. I got burnt out on it. And it wasn't necessarily burnt out on this, but I think I was getting burnt out on keeping up with the sal, or trying to keep up with the sal and keep up with my stitching on Pandemic, because I really had a goal of finishing that in 2021. So something had to be set aside, and this was it. It did come up in the wheel spin, and I got a portion of the Cheshire Cat done. So this is what it looks like so far. I have almost the entire left side done. And then see the Cheshire Cat on the right hand side. There's a whole lot of stitching left to do on this one, but I really like it. This is 18 count Ada that I coffee tea dyed. This is the second piece that I had coffee tea dyed. The other piece that I stitched all of my 12 days of stitching on was supposed to be for this, but I kind of burnt it. So it was more suited to being cut up into ornaments than one large piece. And I am using the DMC conversion on that chart. instead of the Owl Force embroidery flosses. I heard that they're relatively affordable and shipping is pretty quick coming from Russia, so that's pretty cool. But I just haven't tried them yet. Maybe the next time I want to splurge on something, I will pick. Because I do have their sale from the previous year, the Wizard of Oz, and I would love to stitch that in their threads. That would be lovely, so maybe I'll do that. This is a freebie called Thanksgiving, I believe, and it's by one of the ladies from Twin Peak Primitives. I cannot pronounce her name, but I'm going pretty far. I did pull from Stash because I didn't like the DMC conversion for these berries. So I just pulled two that kind of looked the same. There's a light, can you see it? A light and a dark. I hope I'm holding that up to the camera right. I switched my camera around on my phone and I'm still getting used to how to hold the projects so that way you can see them. So I just pulled from Stash actually on these, on this one to match the chart because I did not have any of the called for, I don't think. Okay, what is this one? This is George Decorates for Martha. I like working on this piece. George Decorates for Martha, even though that house is huge. And you know, there's another chart in this series that the house is exactly the same. And I'm like, oh my gosh, I cannot stitch that house twice. So I think George Decorates for Martha is going to be it for me. This is 28 count Monaco coffee tea dyed. Look at that. This is dark compared to the Ada. This is what I have done so far. I am almost halfway done with the house. And look at Martha, she's huge. I mean, come on. She's as tall as the house. But she's almost done too. She only has a couple more stitches. I think in the collar of her dress and then her hands are, so there's 4 stitches left on her that I didn't get done. For some reason, I don't have the one color that's supposed to go in her collar. I don't know why, because I thought that I got them all, but that one disappeared. So I will just have to get it again or just pick a different color. Okay, that one I'm going to leave for later. This came up in the wheel spin recently. No, it didn't. Beatitudes came up in the wheel spin. And I picked up Beatitudes, which is downstairs. I'm going to have to insert a photo. It's on my frame. It came up on my wheel spin and I grabbed it and I grabbed the bag with the floss and I sat down and I looked at it and I'm like, yep, nope. And I don't know why. I just was not in the mood. So I picked up Bee Study instead because I thought that I could make some great progress on it that week. And I think that I did. So here's we are. I know I have threads. I have threads hanging. So I was working on this bee here in the corner. I screwed it up and it has to come out. I really don't know. Someone said that I messed up on the leg. And I think I did mess up on the leg. And then it threw off the whole entire thing. It's counting out like it's in the same position, but there's a stitch. It's a stitch off, so I can't finish it the way that it is. And then on the back page of the book cover, I worked here and I completed some of the border here. So this is also 28 count Monaco that I coffee tea dyed. If you haven't realized yet, I like Monaco. Drop in a bag. I really do. I found a piece, or I found a seller and I got some and I started stitching on it and oh my gosh, I just love it. So I actually have a couple of pieces from on order because I have to have it. If I'm going to stitch on something, I would much prefer to stitch on Monaco. I don't mind stitching on Ada, so you'll see that I have a whole bunch of projects on Ada as well. So, okay, this is one that my husband got me last Christmas, and it's from an Etsy shop, and I don't know the name of the Etsy shop, but this is a Weimaraner. We have a Weimaraner, and this is, I believe, 18 count Ada. And it is pretty confetti heavy, lots of color changes, but I'm I'm pushing through. I am almost 50% done with this little guy. Now, it is supposed to have Weimaraner Mom stitched underneath of it. I had decided pretty quickly that I didn't want to stitch Weimaraner Mom on here. I wanted to commemorate this piece with our dog's name. His name is Dexter. So it will say Dexter. I think I forgot to leave enough space underneath on the bottom for his name, because I think when I started it, I'm like, I'm not going to put anything. I'm just going to stitch the dog and have it, you know. But then I think after I started stitching it, I changed my mind. So I think I'll just stitch it along the top, because I cut the fabric to stitch the words, but I didn't leave the margin on the bottom. So it'll say Dexter across the top and then have him underneath. And then I'll just have, I have to pick a font, I have to pick a color. She charted it in 321 by DMC, and it doesn't match at all. But she charts all of the words for all of her dog charts in that same color. It's just, I didn't like it. So I grabbed that floss out for something different, and I'll pick a different color. I'll probably use leftovers from the chart. Okay, this is called a heart silhouette. It was a freebie from Charting Creations. The last time I showed this, I said that I could not find it on their website anymore, so I'm assuming that their license had run out. I'm stitching this on, let's see, it's a Murano Lugana. I don't really know what that means, and I think it's 20 count, and I'm stitching over 2, which means I think it's 10 count, and I'm using 2 strands. Now, I should have actually learned how to stitch 2 over 1 on this, and it would have been perfect. And then I would have had a lot left over for other things, but I didn't know what I was thinking when I started this. I just started, and so it's huge. It's huge. And I don't actually mind the coverage either. It's not as full coverage, or you can see kind of a little bit from the background, but I don't mind it. So I hope that you can see it. I think, approaching 50%. This is almost the top of the left lobe of the heart. And so it actually, you would think that it wouldn't take that long to stitch, but there's a lot of counting to make sure that everything lines up correctly. So it does take me quite a bit. I don't get as much progress on this when I stitch on it, but I do get excited when it comes up on the wheel. So I'm hoping it comes up soon so I can get stitching on that. And I don't really like to take it to work with me and stitch on it on my lunch because the fabric is so huge. I'm hoping that I have some leftovers so that way I can use it for other things. This is by Jeanette Douglas, Vintage Animals. I started this on December 25th, 2020 in honor of my grandparents, because when I saw this, I just thought of them instantly. Because they had property up north in Michigan, about 45 minutes from Traverse City, and if you know the area, and we would go on walks all the time, and we would see so much of, I mean, it wasn't unusual to see a lot of those animals, and so it just reminded me of them. So I'm stitching that for them. I've stitched on it a couple of times, just a couple of times. 28 count Dove Gray Monaco. I did not coffee tea dye it or anything. I just left it the way that it was. I know that this is a neutral in the background, but I wanted this. It just popped out to me. Now, I will say, there's Jeanette Douglas, and her colors are great, but the DMC conversion, there's a lot of blending. I had never blended before until this squirrel, and I don't like it. So I'm just going to rip it out, and I'm not going to do any blending for any of the things, and I'm just going to pick a color and stick with the color and just be done with it. So the last time I stitched it on it, I did start the alphabet and that squirrel. I stopped doing the squirrel and just did more alphabet. I think I am missing one. Oh, over here for the flowers, the leaves are a different color than the stem, but they were so similar I couldn't see the difference with my own eye. So I have to swap that out for a different color as well. But other than that, I am using the called for DMC conversion. I'm just not going to be doing the blending, so, which is fine. Okay, this is Pumpkin Carriage by Owl Forest Embroidery. This is a freebie on their website as well. I believe it goes this way. I've got some decent progress on this one. This is 28 count Monaco that I coffee tea dyed. Surprise, surprise. And apparently I have a needle on this one too. No wonder why I was losing all my needles. They're stuck all over. Usually I don't do that. Usually I don't leave needles in projects. I take them out and I use the one needle over and over until it breaks and then I throw it away. And I know that some people probably don't agree with that, but this one only has 4 DMC colors, so that is a great affordable project if you want, if you need an affordable project. Because the chart is free, you just need to grab some fabric from your stash and your 4 scans of DMC. Okay, this is Words to Live By, Words to Live By Tiny Modernist. This piece is also huge, and I think it has 16 charts, and the one in the middle is pretty large. The last time I worked on this, I started on the very middle chart there. You see it's sunshine, and I started the scroll work, and then I think I did this purple word here, I think. Sometimes when I am stitching, I am not in the mood for the fiddly parts, which are the back stitching and the color change, you know, the constant color changing. So I will find a block of stitching that I can do, and so I can see some progress, and then I'll save the fiddly stuff for later. You'll see that coming up in the, oops, I did not put my bees study chart away. You'll see that in my last WIP that I'm going to show you. Almost there, 2 more. This is Liberty Chalk Full by Hands On Design in partnership with Priscilla Blaine for the artwork. I did the small one and have that ready for display. Now I'm working on the big one. This is on 28 count black Monaco with the called for DMC. I think conversion, because I think they did this in overdyed floss. And this is how much I have so far, which not bad, not bad. It's just a lot of, again, a lot of counting, so that way you can get the words in there and the flowers and stuff. So I think, again, great progress can be made when it comes up on the WIP wheel. I think I may be pleasantly surprised at how many finishes or the progress that I get done this year. So, okay. There is one more WIP, but then there's also this one, technically not started. I have this whole thing of floss here to go in the bag. I wanted this to be my New Year, New Start, but the fabric has not come in. I'm stitching this for my daughter. I will be stitching this for my daughter, and she requested it be on Constitution fabric, and this is Lady of the Flag by Nora Corbett, Mirabilia. Yeah, the fabric didn't come in. I don't know why, but I will continue to wait. It's not a big deal. My daughter wants the teal conversion. So it will use all of these teals. I think 4 shades, 5 shades. And then convert the bead colors over as well. She didn't like the, I don't know if you can see it, the torch. She doesn't like the color of the flame on the torch, so we're going to convert that too. No biggie. So as soon as the fabric comes in, this will be a start. I won't go as crazy and have like a, this barely fits my bag. I need to put it in a different bag. I won't have like a strict, like, okay, I'm going to get this done in 6 months or whatever. I don't think it will take me an awfully long time, but it will be a focus that I will be working on whenever the fabric comes. Okay, so the last one was actually this did come up on the wheel spin for January 2nd. So I did put a little bit of progress on this in 2022 already, but it's my last WIP that I have, and it's Bittersweet Trio by Waxing Moon Designs. This one is difficult to stitch because the symbols are so similar and the chart is black and white. So it's really hard for me to keep track of where I am. I am using the called for DMC conversion that is listed on the chart. 28 count Monaco Dove Gray that I coffee tea dyed. And this is what I had as of December 31st. Well, I did finish the 3 sunflowers on this one and the leaf here in the top. I finished that. But as of December 31st, that's pretty much what it looked like. But then as of yesterday, I also started putting in that pumpkin. Can you see the pumpkin? Yeah. So I started putting that in. But like I said, I was sitting there stitching while we were watching TV, and it just felt like it took forever. So I got some of the dark color in the pumpkin, so that way I could then stitch the light color, and it did go a little bit faster, but I just felt like it was going forever and ever. Okay, so that concludes all of my finishes for the year and my WIPs that I have through December 2021. And I hope that you enjoyed the show, and that you maybe have some inspiration or got some ideas of what you would like to do in your crafting time this year in 2022. So if you have any questions with anything, go ahead and post below, because I don't know if I can put all of the information in the description box, because this is a lot between the finishes and the WIPs. I don't know if I can get it in there. So if you have any questions, go ahead and post below. Oh, one last thing before I leave you. I just have to dig it out under my pile. I have the chart and remaining floss for the Amazing Grace Janlin kit, and I'm going to go ahead and offer this up as a giveaway. I'm going to offer this as a giveaway in this video. So if you would like the Amazing Grace chart by Janlin and the remaining floss, go ahead and leave me a comment below and make sure that you use the word amazing. Otherwise, I won't know that you actually want the chart and you're just wanting to chit chat. Which, just wanting to chit chat is fine as well, but I don't want to send you a chart that you don't want. So just make sure that you use the word amazing, and I will get this in the mail to you if you win. We will talk about that on Sunday, January 9th. Okay? Until then, I hope you get some crafting time in. Bye.